What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video for the one single game between the Oakland Athletics and the New York Yankees at New York City. We've got Yankee Stadium. We've got early baseball for today. So we're going to try things a little bit differently. We've never done like just a normal, like a single game breakdown. I want to see if you guys like it. If you do, hit that like button and let me know. Another video, if we get at least 50 likes and you leave a comment, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. 100 likes on this video, you leave a comment, you have a chance to win a free month. 150 likes, a free year, and 200 or more likes on this video, and you could win a lifetime pass to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, just like every other video. On top of that, at the end of this video, I will link today's big video. So the video went out, and it covers every other game on the slate. So we're going to start this. We're going to see how this video does. If you guys like this breakdown, we'll do a separate video for the single game showdowns. Mostly they come on like Sunday nights, but the occasional we have like a Wednesday game or Thursday sometimes like that. We'll see. If you guys like it this way, we will definitely take a look. So we're going to break it down just a little bit. We're going to look at the two pitchers. We're going to look at the bats, what makes sense. We've done simulations just like before. We've got park factors. We've got it all. So kind of just looking at this game in a nutshell right off the top. Yankee Stadium, wind currently during the game time is blowing out to right center. Depending on, weather can change. It does give a boost to home runs and singles. It's obviously a short porch, so if the wind is blowing out there and the ball doesn't go out of there, normally not a double. So it will give a boost to batters that normally slap the ball the other way, go to right field, get singles and stuff like that. So it will do a boost up on that. Home runs, just kind of looking, as of now, this is ranked as the fifth most home run chance for this whole slate. So not the best. The Yankees obviously above Oakland for a chance to home run. So simulated the games 10,000 times. Looking at this after 10,000 simulations, Oakland Athletics 3.89 runs. We've got the Yankees at 5.48. Win percentage, Yankees 68% to win, minus 213. Money line over on Caesars is minus 240. Then we've kind of looked. First 5 runs. So this kind of goes with sports betting as well. So first 5 innings, run-wise, Yankees 3.23, Oakland 2.04, and then the first 5 who holds the lead. 57.2% of the time it was the Yankees, minus 134. So the implied runs total, it's right around 8.5. So 8.5 is minus 118, 9.5 is plus 128 there. So I think one of the good odds to take is yes for runs in the first inning is at 51%. So right above 50-50. So I do think that goes up. We are kind of waiting on lineups. We don't have anything yet, but that will be there. So we look at this. JP Sears versus Carlos Rodon. Lefty matchups here. We've got Sears, 37 plate appearances, a 314 batting average against the Yankees. So Sears hasn't seen a ton of them. We will look at them. He is a former Yankee prospect who got traded over there for, I think it was for Frankie Montas, actually. And then Rodon, on the other hand, terrible last year. He's come on strong lately. Oakland, 14 plate appearances, 333. Obviously, I would love this game if it were in Oakland because it's a massive ballpark for pitching. But the Athletics, I don't know what to say. They're not a good team, but they've been putting up runs. Kind of the same thing with Washington. Washington, not a good team, but they've won like 8 of their last 13. It's really wild to... Baseball's a funny sport. Let's put it that way. So we look at this. The Yankees bats that have had success against Sears. Glaber's 1 for 8 with a home run. He's really struggled this year. Rizzo's 2 for 6. Stanton's 1 for 5, but that's a home run. Anthony Volpe 1 for 5. But he's been on fire this season. Oswaldo Cabrera's been on fire. He's 4 for 5 with a triple and a home run. So Oswaldo Cabrera could be a sneaky option there. Trevino's 1 for 5, and Aaron Judge is 1 for 1 with a home run. So a lot of great options there. Then we look at the Oakland bats against Rodon. Not going to be much. Nick Allen, 1 for 3. Abraham Toro 2 for 4, Brent Rooker 0 for 3, and Tyler Nevin 1 for 2 with a double. So when you're building your lineup, the majority, I would say, are going to go with a captain spot of Rodon, which would make sense because it's in a great spot. A pivot, obviously, would be a captain in Sears at 15.9, but they are very expensive. And then you go down the list, people are going to be on Judge against a lefty, Juan Soto, Volpe. You go down, Oswaldo Cabrera's 11,100. I think you should be able to do a lot with that. We're just going to build not a ton of like, hey, this is the way to do it. This is how we do it. There's going to be different ways. If you've never played a Showdown, it's different. And chances are you're going to split a lot. But we will kind of look at some plays, and then we'll build a lineup with it. There are many, many different ways to go about this. You can do a Yankee stack. You could do an Oakland stack. I feel like in something like this, you're going to have to do a couple of back and forths. You're going to have captain as a pitcher in a couple of your lineups. If you are making Showdown lineups, do not just make one. You kind of need to enter multiple. So it really depends on what you think you can afford, what you want to play. Maybe you go, 25-cent lineup, 10-cent lineup, whatever it is. I think you need to mass enter in something like a Showdown. One-offs are really, you could win, but I think it's going to be kind of hard. Obviously, all the signs point to looking at the Yankees as dominating, Carlos Rodon continuing his domination. So in that instance, if you want to go with something like that, Rodon as your captain would be one. If you think Aaron Judge, who has struggled this season, got a couple of hits over the weekend that looked pretty good, has had success against Sears, could be number 2 at 9,600. Juan Soto, obviously he's been absolutely on fire. He's 9,800, but that's kind of, you limit yourself that way. So you put a lineup like this and you got 4,400 left. We kind of have to go with some sort of Oakland here because, again, it's 4,400. It's like I would love Oswaldo, but then we can only really afford 2,900, and you can't really find anything there. Again, this will be very dependent on the lineup that comes out, which has not come out yet for either team. I don't believe. Let's see if it has come out yet. Maybe it has. And then it'll make us feel a little bit better who's going to be in there. But we look at this, preview it, and yeah, no lineups have come out yet. No lineups have come out yet. So we kind of got to go with what we think's going to go. So another cheap option would be like a Nick Allen. He's 3,600 at shortstop. We look at his game logs. He's done okay. Again, that's the problem with Showdowns. Your pitcher has to go up against some of the batters. The problem is Nick Allen's batting 170. Tyler Nevin has had success. Like, obviously wasn't a lot. He's 4,400. That averages out. He's batting 286. Not much going on. No home runs, really low RBIs, bats down in the order. You could look at him and so we're still averaging 4,400 the rest of the way. Depending on the Oakland bats that you want to look at, obviously J.D. Davis is out. Shea Langeliers does not allow us to do anything with his price. We come down here, same thing with Seth Brown. You could look at Ryan Noda. You could look at Lawrence Butler. Really hasn't done much lately, batting 186. Obviously Ruiz would be one, but he's probably, he's 8,800, so it's very hard to get him on there. It's very difficult to make it. So this is another Max Muncy, not the Max Muncy from the Dodgers, which is always funny. Obviously not on the team, but always love that name there. So really depends on where you want to go, what you can afford, who's even going to be in this lineup. You could build such a lineup like Noda here at 5,200. Then that brings us to 3,600, which is Nick Allen. Pretty much as far down as you can go. So you got a lineup like this. So this is a very even lineup, 3-3. One is our pitcher, one is the MVP. So we clear that. Another one we could look at, just depending. Do you want to go with both pitchers? You could go with both pitchers. That is a way to do it. If you think they're both gonna have success, obviously. Rodon is 1. Sears would be 2. That does limit you because you have both pitchers. But now we got 5,500 to work with. depending on where we're at, where you think we could go. Maybe Judge is in there. Maybe you feel comfortable with Judge being in there. I completely understand that. I assume Trevino will be in this lineup, being a righty catcher against a lefty pitcher. He's actually kind of come on a little bit better lately. You see fantasy points here, actual positive fantasy points lately. He's 4,600. He's under that price, so now we're at 3,900. This is the problem, because then you have to find some players that maybe they'll be in, maybe they'll be out. So Nevin was another one at 4,400, but that brings us down to 3,400. So Schumann, game log, about 143, coming off a good game on Saturday. He doesn't play every day. 21 fantasy points there, had a stolen base and a home run. Obviously, that's not going to happen all the time, but Yankee Stadium is a stadium that allows home runs. It allows some singles off to the right field with the wind, with what's going. This would be an option here. Would I ever use him in the full slate? No, I would never use him. In a showdown, you got to get a little creative. You got to build a lineup like that. I don't even know if Schumann's going to be in this lineup, so if he isn't a pivot point, there's not a ton. That's the problem. Trammell's not even on the Yankees. Soderstrom probably not even on. Yeah, so he's in AAA. Yeah, a 148 batting average in AAA is not good. He's probably not going to get the call up. Yeah, that's what's kind of, if he's out, if he's not starting, we could be in trouble. I don't think Jahmai Jones starts, but he would be a cheap option if in fact he started. So that's one way to go about building another lineup out there. If you wanted to go with like a different stack, you wanted to go with let's say your Rodon, he is expensive, but let's say we go with Sears. You could go with Sears. Now, I don't think I'm going to go with Sears much at all. That's the problem. But you got to get creative. That would be where I would say, hey, this is where we could go with Sears being your captain, just because you do save a little bit. Not a ton, but you do save a little bit here, 1,000 there. You could really go either way here. So let's say Sears let's say he goes 6 innings. No, you save a little bit more. Let's say he goes 6 innings, 6 Ks, whatever. But then the Yankees come on strong later. So that is where maybe Sears has a good first 5 innings. The Yankees don't do anything. Then Sears gets pulled for whatever reason. The Yankees' bats start coming alive. Because if you look at it, the Yankees this year have been on fire, coming from behind, putting up a ton of runs late into games, winning the games that way. So that is definitely a way to do it. So then we would put Rodon in there again. We put Judge in there. You could look at, I still think Trevino needs to be in one of your lineups if you make lineups. So now with this, we can average 4,100, which is a little bit above what we were averaging when we had both pitchers last time at about 3,400. Depending on where it is, I think Nick Allen does play. I think Tyler Nevin also plays. In that instance, we are able, so you save 300, or you take Nevin out, and now you can't do anything else. So it's Nevin, and that's it. You could go down to Schumann. You could go to Lawrence Butler, who hasn't really done anything. So just kind of a breakdown of a little bit. I do think you want some Oswaldo Cabrera in here, too, if he starts. He's been hitting lefty-on-lefty matchup. He is a switch hitter. I do know that. So he is in that lineup at some point. Depending on where he's batting, if he's in there, we could build a lineup looking at him as well. Whether or not you want to look at a lineup of Sears as your captain spot with Oswaldo Cabrera in there, you could look at that. Another way to go about it, Verdugo, I don't know about him on a lefty-on-lefty matchup, but you could do Oswaldo Cabrera here. So we're still averaging, the way we're doing it, we're still averaging. This would be a lineup, so we do have Rodon. So we have Rodon in there, averaging 4,600, which gets us right about where we were at last time with Nevin there. And then we got 4,900 we can look at. So you look at Trent Grisham, probably doesn't start. Trevino starts. So it would be basically Trevino. So this is another way. We got Sears at captain. You got Rodon at captain. These are ways to do it. A different way, if you want to see how to get a little creative with this. You definitely could get a little crazy, but, and this would be again, you make multiple lineups, you make 10, 20 lineups, whatever it is. You kind of got to get a little creative when you're looking at however many lineups you're playing. So again, if you're on DraftKings, if you're looking for 10 cent, 25 cent, whatever, you play 20 entry max, something like that. You could go about this. I think a sneaky one, now it might not work out, but a sneaky one could be Oswaldo Cabrera here at 11,100. As that, you could still fit in Judge. You could still, if you think the Yankees are going to dominate, you think Carlos Rodon's going to dominate, you could look at it that way. You could look at, now this is a very heavy Yankees one, but it allows you to. But the problem is you have to have at least one player from the other team. That brings us to 4,500. That brings us to Tyler Nevin again. Everything is pointing Tyler Nevin in a lineup as a cheap option, but just the way to go. So that being said, that's kind of a little breakdown. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know that as well. And we can go just avoid this next time, or we can look at these games moving forward, look at the bats that make sense, everything like that. So if you want to look at the bats real quick that have had success or that have currently hit well, that is another way to track as well. So again, even though he's batting under 200, Lawrence Butler is hitting the ball really well. Red-wise, again, BABIP is getting him. He's hitting it at people, but he's hitting the ball hard. Shane Langeliers is hitting the ball very well as well. It's very hard to put him in a lineup, though. Ruiz, he steals bases. That's the other thing. Ruiz would be a lineup helper. He got called up. All he does is hit. He's hitting 375, 5, 23, 0, 14, 20. Like, he's getting, this is before he started, and then they sent him down for 2 weeks because they're manipulating him for his, it's the way they do the service time manipulations. Wild. Home runs, stolen bases are there, getting points. 8,800 is kind of expensive, but he is a righty on lefty matchup. Ruiz would make sense. You kind of look at other ones. Abraham Toro, Tyler Nevin, Zach Geloff, these guys I would play. The Yankees, Juan Soto has been hitting the hell out of the ball. Stanton against the lefty at home, wouldn't be surprised if he hits a home run. We didn't talk about him, but he's obviously good. Judge has had success in the past against Sears, and he hits lefties well. Torres is slow, like, been terrible this season. Had a good Sunday, so we could look at him. Volpe is another one. Oswaldo Cabrera, I think, is one. Jose Trevino is another one there. Just depends on when the lineups come out and what they show. So if you found it helpful, you like it, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com is the website. That's what we've got. Hopefully it's a good breakdown for you. Good luck on this slate. Good luck on this single game if you're playing it. Let's bring home some bacon together. Peace!